There was a time when I was a big fan of Disney's take on Star Wars. I passionately defended their work. I believe they were meaningfully expanding on George Lucas's vision of Star Wars. I saw Rogue One as a beacon of creativity, with bold storytelling, taking Star Wars in a place that we haven't been before. I even convinced myself that the Book of Boba Fett was decent. Kenobi seemed like everything I ever wanted, until I started to see the cracks in Disney's approach. At first, the issues were subtle, and I tried to ignore them. But then content creators, like the real-life fake wizard,
I am the real-life fake wizard,
started connecting the dots for me.
the characters are hard to connect with. The motivations behind all the characters, at this point in time, we still have yet to understand.
They pointed out plot holes,
Somehow Palpatine returned.
weak character arcs,
Ray, I never told you Ray!
story moments that just didn't make sense.
They fly now? They fly now!
They helped me see the truth. Disney wasn't respecting Star Wars. Instead, they were exploiting it for profit, ignoring George Lucas's vision of Star Wars that he spent decades building. It became painfully clear when I rewatched the Book of Boba Fett. Disney didn't just mishandle it, they disrespected another iconic character of the Star Wars franchise. Boba Fett, a mysterious, badass bounty hunter.
No disintegration.
As you wish.
He was reduced to an aimless pacifist. This wasn't the Boba Fett that we grew up with. Disney stripped away everything that made the character iconic. Boba Fett would never remove his helmet in the original trilogy. Even Tamira Morrison expressed his own frustration with Boba Fett's treatment in his own show.
Some of these fans were calling me Boba Fett.
He felt overshadowed by the sudden appearance of the Mandalorian, who stole the spotlight of his own show.
Fuck you, Boba Fett. I am the new badass in town.
And let's not get started on Luke Skywalker. Mark's own words speak volumes. In multiple interviews, Mark Hamill stated that he fundamentally disagreed with Rian Johnson over the treatment of Luke Skywalker.
I said to him, I totally disagree with what you think about Luke.
This wasn't just an actor being difficult, this was the man who helped create Luke Skywalker. The Last Jedi transformed Luke Skywalker from a symbol of hope and redemption into a bitter, cynical hermit who contemplated murdering his own nephew. A complete betrayal of the character who saw good in Darth Vader.
I know there is good in you. The Emperor hasn't driven it from you fully.
The Kenobi series could have been incredible, but it was a missed opportunity from the start. They had a chance to really delve into Obi-Wan's struggle between episodes 3 and 4 to show the weight of his failures and how that shaped the man that we see in episode 4. Instead, they fired a great writer, Stuart Beattie, who had a real understanding of the character Obi-Wan.
3 movies I had, planned for him because I felt there were 3 different evolutions of his character.
The original trilogy was groundbreaking in its use of special effects, miniatures, and real locations. These techniques gave the films a tangible, realistic feel that has stood the test of time. Disney's over-reliance on CGI, particularly the volume, has led to a flat, artificial look. Disney has shown a frustrating inconsistency with the use of the Force. In The Last Jedi, we suddenly see Leia using Force powers she's never ever displayed. Force healing becomes a convenient plot point in The Rise of Skywalker, making us question why we've never seen it before. There is a corporate agenda here. Disney's approach reveals a fundamental misunderstanding of what made the original films feel special.
A special effect without a story is a pretty boring thing.
We can't forget about the destruction of canon. Disney's first act after purchasing Lucasfilm was to declare that decades of carefully crafted stories, characters, and lore were no longer considered canon. They promised to create something better instead. Yet they've repeatedly mined these same legends ideas, executing them poorly. Another thing that we've lost from George Lucas' Star Wars is the in-depth world building that he had.
A beam in the middle of it that can block lightsabers?
Well, yeah, I'll show you how that works.
Okay.
There's a ball on the end here, and then the beam goes along here between it.
The original trilogy and the prequels showed us how the galaxy actually worked. Disney's Star Wars exists in a vacuum, where these elements are barely even mentioned. While Disney emphasizes cultural diversity,
The power of many.
they've ironically made the galaxy feel less diverse. Different planets and species in Lucas's Star Wars had distinct cultures, customs, and ways of life.
The cities are built on the inside walls of the sinkholes.
In Disney's version, most locations feel interchangeable, with the same cantina scenes and marketplace chases being repeated throughout. Unlike Lucas's clear vision for both trilogies, Disney Star Wars has suffered from a lack of coherent story planning.
I think the most surprising thing, for me was the way he treated Luke.
The sequel trilogy directors openly admitted to not coordinating between their movies, leading to the jarring shifts between the tones of the movies.
Both as a Star Wars fan, as a JJ fan, I'm just thrilled to step back and just become an audience member again. So we'll see where it goes.
I also want to mention that there is the death of stakes. What I mean here is that Palpatine's return cheapens Anakin's sacrifice. Boba Fett's survival removes the consequence of his failures. When death has no meaning, the stories lose their emotional weight and tension.
12 seconds later.
That's when the truth hit me. Disney was never interested in respecting George Lucas's vision for Star Wars. They weren't taking care of the galaxy that he built. They were strip mining it. What we're witnessing isn't just bad storytelling. It's the systematic dismantling of what made Star Wars special. Disney has replaced the mythological heart of Star Wars with a corporate-approved copy, more concerned with quarterly earnings than creating stories that mean anything. To the fans who saw this long before me, to those who spoke out, to those who criticized Disney Star Wars and refused to accept mediocrity, I owe you my thanks. We must do more than just criticize. We must remind ourselves and others of what Star Wars can be when it's treated with respect. We must support content creators who genuinely care about deep storytelling. Star Wars was once a cultural phenomena that changed cinema forever. Under Disney, it's just become another content farm. We, and future generations of fans, deserve so much better than this. We deserve stories that have rich world building and respect the treatment of legacy characters. It's time to stop accepting mediocrity dressed up in nostalgia and start demanding something better, something real, something that truly honors the galaxy that George Lucas created. So if you liked today's episode, if you found value in any of this content, if you agree with what I have to say, please like this video, subscribe to my channel, and may the Force be with us all.
Oh, there it is. There's my name. It's another check for Daddy.